Welcome everybody. Um, Thank you for being here. I'm Lightworker. I make music focused on growth, purpose, and positive change. I also run the Lightworker Empire online shop. I'll put both things, my music channel and my shop in the link below. Everything I create is designed to help people become the best version of themselves and to shine light on the darkness, I guess. Yeah, in a urban kind of street way. Mm, yeah, because I'm a spiritual gangster like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, today I'll be talking about cutting things out of your life that no longer serve your highest purpose. Okay. Um, Everything in life influences us: people, habits, environments, thoughts, social media, energy, and attention. Okay, energy and attention. Whenever you thinking, is this something I should cut out of my life? Think of it like this. Ask yourself this question: is this helping me become the person I want to become? Yeah. Now, signs something no longer serves us. Okay. It causes constant stress. That's a big one. Drains our energy. Holds us back. Stops our growth. Doesn't align with our values. Keeps us stuck in old patterns. Makes us feel worse after spending time with it or around it. You know? Some examples, I guess, could be like toxic friendships, unhealthy relationships, negative thinking, addictions, gossip, drama, endless scrolling. I know y'all be getting down with that endless scrolling. I'll be doing that myself sometimes, and I'll be like, but I switch it up. Whenever I notice I'm scrolling, I switch it up. I start reading something, you know? That's how I combat scrolling. Scrolling's a bad one. Okay, fear, self-doubt, procrastination. Yeah? And fear is another big one too. And you must understand with fear is not real. It's an illusion. Fear of abandonment, fear of loss, fear of not achieving, fear of success, fear of harm, fear of being exposed for something you aren't or even something you are. You know, they're all not real. They're not real. They're all constructs of the mind that were created by the system of us. You know, it's the system of the matrix. Our reality is stuck in a society built on illusions. Okay. Now, the thing about this stuff is most of it isn't necessarily what we're doing that's the problem. It's what we're not doing. Okay. By not cutting things out of our life, like when we hang around someone who disrespects us, it teaches them it's okay to disrespect us, especially if we don't pull them up. And even if we do pull them up, sometimes people just override boundaries because they're, just ruthless motherfuckers. And I have no time for that shit today. You know, I had a lot of time for that before. I used to suffer with abandonment issues, the fear of being alone, all that kind of stuff. You know, so I used to let people walk all over me. You know, partly because I was people pleasing, and partly because I was fear of being abandoned. And when I look at all that stuff now, I just think, wow, I'm so glad I don't live in that mentality now, because it's so taxing. And it's such a big betrayal of self to be in that mind frame and to act and allow others to act towards you in such disrespectful manners because you're living in fear. Fuck fear, man. Fuck fear off. That's shit. It's not real, you know what I mean? Have no fear. Have no fear. Live courageously. Okay. So as I was saying, yeah, it's like why letting go is so difficult. It's like There's a few reasons, our comfort zone. Letting go means we have to step outside of our comfort zone. The fear of change, the fear of being alone, the fear of disappointing people, identity attached to old habits. Remember, we're human beings, not human doings. Yeah, that's low frequency shit. That human doing shit. All right. Fear of disappointing people. If people are disappointed because you're standing in truth, then fuck those people. Fuck them. Okay. Identity attached to old habits, like I said. Change feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. That is true, because you're not used to it. A lot of the things I do now on a daily basis, when it was first brought to my attention that I should be doing those things, I was like, fuck that, man. Fuck doing a 12-step meeting every day. Fuck, doing a gratitude list every day. And the reason why is because my mind state, my mental was stuck in lack. It was stuck in fear. When I started doing all these things, those things helped me start fucking off all the fear and fucking off all the mental state of lack and abandonment and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was important, and I have a lot of things in my life today that most people would think, oh man, that's boring. Oh, that's not cool. Listen, if standing in my truth and being as strong as I can be by utilizing healthy things in my life to make me the best version of myself that I can be isn't cool, then fuck, you're delusional. Well, you think hanging out with a bunch of loiterers and doing nothing and getting nowhere and fucking people over and using substances and being shit is a better option than being the optimum person you can possibly be by doing some stuff that's boring every day. Come on, weigh it up, man. She. All right, so listen. Now this is imperative. Okay, this part is imperative. It's paramount to cutting things out of your life, and this is a very, very common known thing called boundaries. Okay. Now boundaries. Now my key message is boundaries aren't selfish. They're self-respect and discipline put into practice. Boom, mic drop. You know what I mean? No, seriously, they are. They are self-respect and discipline put into practice. Okay, so not only when you have boundaries, you're not acting on the knowledge of knowing what best serves yourself. You're acting in the wisdom of it, because wisdom is acting on your knowledge. Okay, so when you have self-respect and when you have discipline, you have boundaries, because self-respect and discipline are only upheld by you having boundaries. Okay? Why? Because boundaries protect your peace. Don't let anyone ever fuck with your peace of mind. Straight up. Okay? Protect your time. Time is valuable. I don't like the term time is money. Time is money. No, I don't like that. Okay? Time is valuable. So is your energy. Okay? Now, honestly, time doesn't exist, but the construct of time in our reality is valuable. Okay? Protect your energy. Yeah? Boundaries help protect your energy. We only have so much energy we can utilize every day. And I know I got a lot of energy, but there's only so much I can handle of low frequency fuckheads trying to drain my energy. Energy vampires trying to stick a fucking, a fucking, what do they call that motherfucker? A straw in my, spinal cord, sucking out my fucking life essence, Not good. Not good. I dealt with a lot of energy vampires. They're harder to slay than demons. Because they're just leeches. Fucking leeches, you know what I mean? They're not fucking, I don't know. I don't like energy vampires very much. I was engaged to one. They're not good. They're not good. They're no good. Yeah. Okay, so we got that. Protect your peace. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Now this is important. Say fucking no. No, no, no. Walk away when necessary, yeah? Walk the fuck away. Don't allow that situation to continue involving another person, place, thing, or habit, whatever. Whatever the fuck you're it is draining energy. When it when it gets to a certain, your cutoff game has to be strong. It has to be very strong, and at the end of you trying a few avenues to assert your boundaries or fuck someone does man. Sorry, again, Nietzsche in the nose, Nietzsche in the forehead. Someone doesn't want me saying this. Spirit, fuck them off. You know what I mean? But basically, you after you try a few avenues to assert your boundaries and teach someone or something, or change up something, or to serve your highest purpose. If that ain't working out, cut it the fuck out of your life. Don't keep going. Like canines, dogs. If they've got a broken leg, they'll keep running on the broken leg because they don't have um, they limp and shit, but they'll still move around and try and run on the broken leg if they can. And the reason why is because they don't have the mechanism that tells us this is not good for us. They have the pain, but they don't have the process mentally to take in the fact that it's bad for them to keep running on it. They just have the pain, and the pain to tell them not to run on it, And a lot of humans are quite similar to that. A lot of humans don't realize that, this when I look at this in all honesty, it's not healthy for me. I need to cut it out of my life. They go, no, they wait until it's so fucking painful, they have to cut it out. And that's okay. I don't judge. I was like that for years. Oh, I was a glutton for punishment, you know what I mean? Especially involving one of my exes. Oh, man. Wow. You know what I mean? I look back on that and like, wow, I had so much loyalty and love to share with another, and at the same time so much fear surrounding abandonment, being alone, and all that kind of stuff. I just let her shit on me, like seriously, not literally, but you know what I mean. Yeah, yeah. It was not a good situation. She was cheating on me. She was trying to have me set up. It took me another 3 or 4 years after we broke up, me going through horrible situations because of her setting up my life on a trajectory that was aimed at trying to have me framed for a cult, an international sex cult, and for the crimes of them. And it was crazy, man. It was crazy, but I was too protected, by spiritual law. I was way too protected, and I walked through the fire, and I came out like a fucking diamond, But the thing is that it's about having that hindsight, It's about having that not hindsight, that clear vision where you can see something that's bad for you and cut it out quick, because people that are successful, they don't have all the money, they don't have all the ideas, they don't have all the intelligence, they don't have all the backing. What they have is the ability to cut shit out of their life that doesn't serve their success. Okay, that's what the majority of successful people, they cut stuff out of their life that doesn't serve their success quickly. If something's not working, they fuck it off. Yeah. So, now this is the other thing that I'll get into. When you when you cut things out and you have boundaries and you uphold your boundaries, like I said, respect, self-respect, and discipline in practice. Yeah. What you must do then is you must replace those things, people, situations, places, all the rest of it with something else that's positive. Don't leave empty space. Replace bad habits with better ones. Yeah? Like, scroll less, read more. If you complain, do a gratitude list. Junk food, healthy food. Negative people, positive influences. Worrying, journaling. Watching TV all night, learning a new skill. Because they're not necessarily changing the behavior, they're changing the content and the focus of what's involving that behavior. Okay? Scrolling and reading, no fucking difference, really. You know? It's just one is helping you, in my opinion. I mean, some people can read terrible things that put them on a low frequency, horror novels and shit like that. I wouldn't suggest that, no way. But, it's about knowing what's best for what you need to reach your highest purpose. Not what you want and that's cool and alluring, but what you need. It's about being real with yourself, being authentically and rigorously honest with yourself, looking inside and being real with your inner child, being like, what do you need? What do you need to grow? Yeah? Because for so long, our soul, our inner child, our internal um, energy has been screaming at us. Screaming at us. And we just ignore it. We use a substance to shut it up. We overeat. We formulate sex addictions because it stops us from looking at internal issues because we're focused on something external, which is another person. We hang around bad places. We do bad things. These things don't serve our highest purpose, and everyone has a higher purpose. Unless you're a soulless demon, and if you are, run, motherfucker, I'm coming for you. Nah, and that's into the collective. That's to the cross-watching demon motherfuckers, all right. And look, the other thing I'll talk about is time is valuable. Yeah, time is very valuable. Time isn't real, but as a construct in our reality in this matrix system, it is valuable. Time is one of our greatest assets. I'd probably say our energy and our connection to source. But in order to have that fully, online, you need to awaken, and then you need to align. Okay, you can always earn more money. You can't earn more time. You can't earn more energy. Okay, you can transfer energy one to another positively in a consensual manner. And I'm not talking about sacred energy exchange. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you communicate with another person on a soul level and you enlighten each other, or you share knowledge with each other and raise each other's intellectual frequencies. It's or you raise another person up by touching them in an emotional manner. Those areas of communication are very important to humanity's uh, ascension. Okay, sharing with another on those levels is beautiful. Some of the most beautiful experiences I've had in my life ever were surrounded by those areas. Okay, but when we're in our low frequency vibrations and we're self-seeking, we're greedy, we're materialistic, we're sexualizing things. Those areas don't serve us. They're all illusions. They all mean fuck all, especially when we're transcending from this realm we call Earth. They don't mean nothing. You can't take every chick you banged with you. Yeah, no matter where you transcend. You can't take all the money you've earned or stole, with you. You can't take all your material possessions with you when you transcend. All you can take is your experiences and your understanding and your wisdom and your knowledge. Back to the collective consciousness. Okay? Every decision shapes your future. Every decision you make shapes your future. So be mindful of that. Okay? Small daily choices become your life. Yeah? Remember that. I had this, when I was in prison, I had this dude talk to me about fitness. And he said, when he was 30, he wanted to start doing fitness, but he didn't start till he was 50. So that hopefully when he's 50, he has a balanced out a health level to help him live a little bit extra when he's about 70. Now, if he started when he was 30, he probably would have said 80. So if you think about that, 20 years of 1 hour, 3 times a week in a gym, and I can't talk. I can't. I mean, I'm stating this because it's factual. Okay, but I can't talk from a personal experience level because I'm really bad when it comes to exercise. I'll be honest, I'm not very good at that, but I still try. You know, I still rock up at the gym whenever my fitness instructor says come to the gym. You know, I'm just not. I just really, it doesn't excite me, and that's probably because I'm not consistent enough with it, and that's probably because I've just started going to the gym. Yeah. Well, it's just how it is, and it's something I'm looking at because it's important. It's important to cover all areas of your health, your mental, your spiritual, your emotional, your physical, all areas. It's very important. You can't just cover one area and become like a Arnold Schwarzenegger looking, mentally healthy motherfucker that's 400 kilos and got no spirituality attached. It doesn't work because all you're running off is intellect. All you're running off is the beliefs surrounding your emotional balance from a psychological level. That's not a holistic approach to well-being. you know it needs to be at least four fundamental factors of health, which is physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. Okay. Okay. Now, the other thing I'll say is that cutting people out of your life is not aiming for perfection surrounding it. You will always feel uncomfortable having to cut something out of your life. You will always feel uncomfortable. I mean, you'll probably feel comfortable with the end result because you realize how much it didn't benefit you and how much you're benefiting from not having it in your life anymore. But while you're doing the cutting out, it will not feel comfortable. So I always say progress, not perfection, surrounding this area. Okay, don't change everything today. Start with one small thing. Pick one thing. Stay consistent. Yeah. Small wins create big transformations. Remember that. Yeah. Especially when you're ironclad about sticking to that change and you follow that change through and you don't buckle. Chosen ones do not buckle. We may take a step back and fall back into our lower frequencies and our lower vibrations and our lower habits, but we don't buckle. No. Sorry, it's like on the Australian emblem there's a kangaroo and there's an emu, and you know why those two emblems are on those two animals are on the Commonwealth emblem. Is it Commonwealth? I think it's Commonwealth. Yeah. Anyway, the reason why is because they can't fucking walk backwards, so they're always walking forwards. Yeah. Chosen ones are very similar. I'm not saying we don't step back and we don't fall back in the old habits, situations, behaviors, old people, old dynamics. That does happen, okay? But we keep moving forward and we don't carry this shit with us because in order to become our highest self, in order to live a new life that's positive and beneficial and fucking amazing, we need to relinquish our old life. We need to be like, fuck this, and give it up. You know, that's how you can't have your old life and live in a higher frequency because your old life and everything you're doing in your old life didn't work for you. It wasn't getting you in a high frequency. So you got to make choices, and you got to stick to these choices. And these choices can't be what you want; they got to be what you need. And you'll find that a lot of stuff you need will become what you want if you practice it for long enough, because you realize the importance, you realize the benefits, you realize how easier it is to have these positive things in your life instead of negative shit that doesn't get you anywhere. Okay. Now, um, so yeah, small wins create big transformations. Yeah. Um, Growth creates space. Letting go isn't losing. Remember that. Okay? It's making room for something better. Every positive choice moves you closer to your highest purpose. Okay? So every positive choice you make is like kicking a goal. Like kicking a goal, and if you make enough positive choices in your life and you stick to them and you see them through and you live in that positive choice you make in the mind frame, like, don't remember, anyone who has self-doubt, remember this, okay? Self-doubt isn't real. The only thing that's stopping you from achieving anything you choose to do is the belief you can't do it through your self-doubt. So self-doubt is a blockage of your manifestations based on your perception. You need to change the framework on your beliefs surrounding self-doubt. Okay? I talk to a lot of people that have a lot of self-doubt, A lot of people stuck in situations that are shit and they stay in them because of self-doubt or fear of abandonment. They're too biggies, And they're all fear. It's all fear. But they're not realistic fears. They're just fears that we've created in our subconscious, due to the construct of the matrix and all the illusions that we're fed. So we need to do the shadow work, break that shit down, have no fear, live courageously, and remember, self-doubt doesn't serve us anything. All it does is waste our fucking time and energy, second guessing and questioning our ability to achieve something that we can achieve. We just need to stop doubting whether we can. Okay? That's important for someone because, some people are just stuck in that fear stuff, the lower self, Now, here's my So remember that, yeah? Every positive change moves you closer to your highest purpose. Now, here's my community challenge for everyone, okay? Challenge 1, okay? Identify one thing that no longer serves our highest purpose. Just one thing that no longer serves our highest purpose. Identify it, yeah? Challenge 2, take one small action this week to remove it from your fucking life. And you might not see it immediately, the benefits, but when you look back on it in a couple of weeks or a couple of months' time, you'll be like, fuck, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I cut that out of my life. And like I said, replace it, replace it with positive things, that benefit you and give you what you need. See, your soul doesn't give a fuck what you want. It cares about what you need, And your soul heals itself, yeah. But we need to heal the rest, We need to heal our subconscious by reintegrating our shadow back into our conscious. We need to heal our conscious and our traumas by doing the shadow work, by letting it all go, by forgiving. We need to be present and mindful by doing mindfulness meditation and bringing it back to the now. We need to embrace positive changes in our life without fear. I'm not saying without fear, but courageously so that we override the fear. Yeah? Because fear will always come. And when it comes, look it in the fucking face and say, fuck you. I'm doing what I need to do anyway. Yeah? No doubt. And, okay, so challenge 1, identify one thing that no longer serves our highest purpose. Challenge 2, take one small action this week to remove it from your life. Challenge 3, once you've identified and made that move to, once you've identified that one thing you need to cut out of your life, I want to hear from you guys. Put in the message below, please. Okay? That's one thing. What's one thing you've cut out of your life that's no longer serving your highest purpose? Please put it in the message below because I love reading the messages. I love interacting with my collective, and I hope you have a lovely day. Peace and everything that's beautiful come your way. Okay, but it will not come your way unless you put in the work. Okay. People think that they need something to save them. No, you save yourself in this world. Okay? You are a percentage of the sun, as Chosen 144 says it. 100%. I love Chosen 144. He's a legend. Got much respect for that fella. And, as see, once this is the big goal for me, right? Once enough of us face our shadow, let go of our traumas, reintegrate our fragmented psyche by doing that, make positive changes in our life, and do the mindfulness meditation to be able to control our mental focus, we can put things in our lives that are healthy. We can be productive in a healthy manner as a society as a whole, and we can align ourselves spiritually to our higher purpose. And through doing that, we'll have a spiritual revolution. And from that, we won't have to listen to bullshit low frequency fuckheads like our government talking shit. Right? I choose authenticity over illusion. Yeah? I choose truth over illusion. This is at this current state in our society. This is a realm of illusion, and I'm trying to break through the illusion. And I need everyone's help, everyone's determination and consistency in looking from within to spiritually awaken, align, and ascend. Thank you. Have a lovely day.